Hey, this is Michael Lindsay from Vital MX. We're out here at Glen Helen Raceway today. We just got the all-new 2018 Yamaha YZ450F info drop. So we went ahead and rolled out to the track and we caught up with Travis Preston, who as usual, we're out here laying the day and he's still burning motos on one. You know, he's the main guy pretty much behind testing this bike in the US, so you pretty much know the most about what's changed, have written the most about what's changed. So let's talk about the chassis. A lot of guys, this has been the main point of contention in the past with the YZ450. What'd you guys do to change that for 18?
Well, yeah, for 18, the chassis is all new. It's a bilateral beam frame this year. The frame between the swing arm pivot area is 6 millimeters thinner. And then also, right here, it's 10 millimeters thicker. So the rigidity of the frame has been increased quite a bit. So that has helped the contact feeling front and rear. The cylinder has been angled 2 degrees more upright, so that's also gotten some weight on the front tire. So a combination of those things has improved contact and improved handling on this bike.
So a big point I'm wondering from a kind of a, how this math affects the rider's feel. So in the past, your guys' frame, I want to say he's been a little more compact. When you look at the changing points of angle, everything was tighter on the old graph. The graph, the new one shows everything's spread out a little bit more, a little bit more even where it changes angles. And same thing with the engine mounting points. It was a little tighter in some areas. Now where it basically mounts up is really expanded. Not saying the bike's any bigger, but the points at where everything matches up has been more, I want to say, even between everything. What does that do for a rider feel?
Well, I think for a rider feel, by changing these mounting points, we've widened the impact absorption area of the frame. So that's given the rider more comfort, basically, and more stability.
The next point I got after looking at the deal, I think it was, for me personally, might be about the biggest positive, is what you guys did with the seat height. Personally, as some people can see here, there's a little bit of a height difference,
yeah.
And even worse is my short legs. The Yamaha, for me, being off the back of the bike, the subframe's always, well, the back of the seats always hit me up a little bit early. You guys have had more curve. You guys have changed a lot in the seat base and the angle, haven't you?
Yeah, it's definitely quite a bit lower this year. It's 19 millimeters lower here in the rear. In the saddle right here, it's 8 millimeters lower. So it's definitely, we've opened up the rider cockpit area, and as well as lowering it back here with the handlebar mounts, it's also up 5 millimeters.
So I guess the split it looking at that is, for me, I'm excited about that as a smaller rider, being able to get back more without getting kicked is easier, but it also sounds like at the same time you guys have still left the cockpit at a good enough size for somebody more of your stature to ride.
Yeah, definitely.
So moving from there, the other more controversial point, since you guys, switching around the engine has definitely been a huge key point for you guys on power, but the other thing that's been left is this how you guys have been adapting the Airbox each time you've redone the bike. I will say, by looking at this, is definitely about the best looking one for width. Now, a lot of guys, some of us have complained in the past a little bit about the width of the Airbox, and for a lot of guys don't know, the actual width out here by the radiators has been very similar with your competition. It's been more in this area where you guys have had a little bit more of an issue, and you guys have, this has probably been the biggest changed area, hasn't it, in the plastic?
Yeah, exactly. So the tank right here, the tank right here is 16 millimeters thinner, and then coming through here, like you're talking about, where your knees slide, that's also 16 millimeters thinner. And then we're able to achieve that because the radiators, the mounting position has changed for this year. And we rotated the radiators forward a little bit, and that's one of the areas how we're able to suck in the shrouds a little bit and
at the same time, same thing as like radiator lowering kits moving. By moving the radiators forward, does that even add to a little bit of the front end weight bias as well? A little more traction getting the radiators farther mounted forward? Yeah,
we didn't really notice any of that. Mainly we noticed it just being thinner for the rider because that's the area where when you sit down, your knees travel. Okay.
So I think something a lot of people are excited about is electric start. We're really excited to see it come to the YZ. And I think one of the more interesting points is, I think some of the competition has been fighting whether to do electric start or not because of weight issue, adding batteries and electric start and everything. And you guys have gone ahead, eliminated the Kickstarter, you've changed your cases, you guys have dropped some weight in a few places. Where are we at with weight overall on the bike while going electric start?
Yeah, like you said, this thing has an electric start for 18, and we added electric start and we've lost weight. But the exact number, we're not sure because I want to weigh a production bike first. But yeah, I'm thinking around 1.5 pounds lighter than last year with electric start.
With electric start, there you go, no weight gain.
Yeah.
So of course, one of your guys' biggest points with this bike that's been the biggest positive has been the engine for a long time. You guys have still not let that settle though. There is, I know, you guys have been able to decrease the angle going into the Yeah, redo that. So of course, one of the biggest points of the YZ, the best points, has always been the engine, and you guys have still gone up and one-up that this year. The cylinder head, you guys have decreased the intake angle even more for more of a straight shot. You guys have a lot more aggressive cam. Where does that actually leave the power for maybe somebody that's ridden the 17 or the 16? Where are we at now on the 18's power curve?
Yeah, what's awesome about this bike is it's improved in so many areas. The chassis improved, the engine's improved, and you know the engine has always been known to have power, like you said, but we made even more power pretty much everywhere. And around 6,000 RPM, it's going to make 3 more horsepower, and then right around again at 9,500, it makes 3 horsepower again. So pretty much the whole curve, it's making more power. And the benefit about this bike is it's more controllable as well. So it's easier to ride and it has more power, so I think that's a great combination.
Are we still on the same gearing and gear ratios as the previous model?
Yep.
Okay. And then moving on, suspension. Big thing you guys did is you never made the air movement. You guys have stuck with KYB's SSS spring fork, and you had a shock. Now this is first year in a long time, other than changing the settings, both the shock and the fork actually have an upgrade internally within the setup. What'd you guys end up doing?
Yeah, well, the cartridge is a millimeter thicker from 24 to 25.
So it has a bigger damping rod piston.
Exactly, so we're flowing more oil, displacing more oil, so that's going to improve the dampened character.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it just, and that seems to give us a nice feel for when it gets deep into the stroke, but then also lets that front tire absorb the small bumps as well.
And then out back in the shock body itself changed. You got a little bit larger reservoir here.
Yeah, the reservoir's up 30 cc's, and the spring rate is also up from a 56 to 58.
58 Newton meter.
Yep.
So I think one of the last key things to go over is you guys have had your power tuner for a couple years, which has been really helpful. You guys have adapted that technology and expanded it into a mobile app now, which actually, one of the guys was showing me already a little bit about it. It's pretty neat. You guys have expanded the range of it, and you can do it all on your phone. You can put notes in your phone, and it connects Wi-Fi, right?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. You know, you don't need cell service, you don't need anything. The bike emits its own Wi-Fi signal through the CC unit, which comes with the bike. It's part of the price, included with the bike. Get the app for free from iTunes, and yeah, you can tune your bike straight from your phone, and that's pretty cool. And then also, yeah, last year I think we had a 3x3 grid.
Yeah.
This year we have a 4x4 grid, so it gives you more plotting points, adjustment points, and then also you can adjust the RPM set points as well. And you can adjust the throttle degree opening set points.
Yeah, so basically throttle position has 4 different points of adjustment, and RPM, there's 4 different points of adjustment through the RPM range, and that's affecting both a fuel ratio map and an ignition map amongst those, correct?
Yes, yeah.
Very cool. And then actually to be able to plug in and use the units, so of course you find the Wi-Fi connection. You don't even need to actually have the bike started. If you just press the electric start button, it arms the system, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So you're able to arm the system electronically so you can do your adjustments with the bike off sitting in the pits.
Yeah, so all you do is you just press the button like that and you hear it, and then the electrical system comes on, and then you look at your phone, and then you will see this bike, this CCU number. And then you enter that number and that's your passcode for the Wi-Fi, and then that's how you connect to your bike. And from then on, you're always connected to your bike.
How long does the bike stay armed when you've actually hit the button?
The bike stays, the electrical system stays on for 2 minutes, and then of course when the bike's running, it's always on.
So if it's on, just like if you're still messing with it, like every 2 minutes, just hit the button again, it'll rearm itself, or?
Yeah, well, yeah. Usually, how I do it is like, say if you want to make a quick change, if you want to come in and change them out, I just leave the bike running. That's how fast you can do it. Mm-hmm. But then, say if you want to like completely redo a map, then yeah, I'll shut the bike down, sit in my chair, adjust the map, then connect to the bike, put the map in, and go.
So I guess the last one for me is, of course, you are a test driver for Yamaha, but I think there's always a simple question to ask you, since you've spent so much time on all the previous production models in this one. What is your favorite change characteristic on the bike that stands out the most to you when you ride it?
I'm going to pick 2 for this. I think the improvements to the chassis, like the contact feels improved, and then also the ease of cornering and the stability in the corner. This bike is, for me, is so much easier to corner. Where you look is where the bike goes, basically. And then the horsepower. We're definitely up on the horsepower, but the power is more controllable. So it's just become a much easier bike to ride, and it's a faster bike to ride. And yeah, I mean, my lap times are definitely lower now on this bike.